I walked in here, took this topic, and I didn't understand what I should come and share with you. And a mother to a Gen Z, the room that has in the same age bracket, I had to think and think hard about what is it I wanted to do. And my topic is something that's always been spoken about, Africa, 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 right? And I'm just hoping that what I do and what I share with you will be able to inspire you to think differently and be able to say that we need to move forward. And as we talk about the topic of the day, which we're going to be working on the basis of giving you data and looking at other things. Now, why did I come in here and say I want to talk about Africa? As I said, I'm a fifth generation African and Kenyan, and 53, which means technically people at our age are going to have one leg somewhere closer to the end, right? So the future is in the generation that is out here. And if we have to do anything, it has to be different. So having a conversation with my daughter, Simran, shout out to her, she was like, Mom, why don't I know so much about Africa and the pains that Africa has? It's the narratives that we keep hearing on TV and media, but not really in terms of what it is that we need to do differently. So the first thing I said, hey, if my own daughter does not know what we are supposed to be doing as a continent, then I think my topic today should be purely about that. So what I want you to do is a simple exercise. I want to show you whether Africa is poor or not. So please pull out your phones, go to your calculator. I'm literally giving you a second for that. I want to show you how I can make every one of you $1 million. Straight. So what you're going to do is go to your calculator. Ghana has a population of 36 million as of yesterday. Now, we've been told 50% of that population is underage. They're under the age of 15. You have infants, you have children. So let's take 50% out of that. So divide it by 2. And then you take the balance of that, because we've been told that we live under $1 a day. So if we live under $1 a day, then they're not going to be affording what I'm going to ask them to do. So take 50% out of that. So divide that by 2 again. And then I want to be generous, and I want to say that, you know, as Africans, maybe there are others who still can't do it, take another 50% off. So you're left with a number. Now let's take that number and work on the basis that if we were to get them to give 5 CDs a day, so you take that number, multiply it by 5, and then multiply it by 5 again, because I want them to do this 5 CDs for 5 days. And then I want you to multiply it by 4, because I just want us to collect this money for 4 weeks. You're getting a number. Divide that number with the exchange rate of the dollar today at 11. Are you coming to something around $40 million? We're a population of 36 million people. If I got 4.95 million people to put 5 CDs every day, each one of us can have $1 million plus change. This is how simple. Now, I'm sure some of you are sitting and thinking, oh, come on, that's so simplistic. That is the problem. Our poverty is not poverty of pocket. It's poverty of mind. We don't like to think. We want to challenge and make things difficult when we should be making things very easy for us. Okay? And that's why I want us to think very differently and see how can we be able to make this difference. So poverty comes in different forms. So I've given you a formula to immediately go and make $1 million, and we can do it. And the best way this gets done is in terms of collaboration. Everyone in this room has a friend who is in finance, somebody in marketing, somebody in education or whatever. You need to collaborate. And the problem with us as Africans is we don't collaborate. We like to compete. We want to be better than somebody else. We don't want to put in the hard work. Yet, we keep getting referred to as being the poorest continent. Now, we are a population of 1.6 billion people in Africa. 1.6 billion. And for those that don't know the data, 45% of that 1.6 billion is between the ages of 18 to 19.3. We've got the youngest. It is said that by 2050, we're talking about 25 years from now, not even 25, 24 years from now, 1 in every 4 people is going to be African. 1 in every 4. The beauty about this, which gives me goosebumps as I stand here right now, by 2100, the largest ethnic group in the world globally is going to be African. Are we taking advantage of that? Does it scare you? Africa was not designed to supply. It was put there to just be able to give away things. Now, is it a leadership problem? Is it an ancestral issue? What is it? We can't continue to do this. We need to make this change, and it's got to happen now. So why do I say we continue to just be the suppliers of the world? I don't know how many of you know that 30% of the world's gold comes out of Africa. 50% of the world's diamonds comes out of Africa. Diamonds are forever. We don't get a chance to see it. We got told about A for apple, how many Africans have actually eaten an apple in the rural areas. 70% of our cocoa, just between Ghana and Ivory Coast, comes out of Africa. 0 deciding powder. Now, let's look at that. Remember those figures that I talked to you about. Look at this graph and tell me what you see. $12.8 billion worth of gold India bought as of October 2025. I'm not even talking about, years ago. The second one they got from was the UAE, 9.5 billion. Then Peru at 3.6 and Ghana at 3. Remember, Ghana is supplying 30% with the rest of the Africa. 30%. Now, for anyone that knows or loves to play with data as I do, India is the largest owner of gold in terms of households, their temples, it's all about gold. Now, why am I showing you that? Isn't it interesting that the top 2 biggest suppliers don't even have gold reserves? They don't even have gold. So whose gold is that? Food for thought. Then we come to the diamonds. And look at the figures again. How many countries do you see that are Africa in that? Russia is leading, and Canada is the only other one that is non-African. But guess who makes the decision about the pricing for diamonds? It's only one company in the whole world. And you've all heard about them, De Beers. I don't know how many of you are from Botswana or have been to Botswana. I've been to it. You land into Gaborone and you land in this small airport. When I say small, it's small. And you come out and you see this amazing facilities of manufacturing and you think, wow. And you drive and then blip, it ends and reality hits you. Now you tell me, from that gold to this diamond, how many of us, even those that are in mining, can say, let me pick a little piece and put it in my pocket and take it home? Something that is coming from your own earth. We can't do it. And I, as an African, cannot stand here and continue to do this, knowing that that's the same soil I'm going to be buried in, and it can choose to spit me out because I've not been loyal to this land. What saddens me is that I don't have this information when I'm 20. You have it, and you can make that difference. Let's talk about cocoa. 70% cocoa. If you look at the graph, the first one, what does it tell you? Look at the players, look at the top producers. You can see Africa there, right? Now let me tell you the value of that first graph. That market size is worth $17.1 billion in terms of what we produce in the market. Look at the next graph. Can you see any African flag there? None. The producers of chocolates, who have never seen a cocoa tree, produce the chocolates. Do you know what the value of that is? 180 billion. 180 billion. I'm not even talking confectionaries. I am not talking about anything else that cocoa goes into. I'm just talking chocolates. Isn't this enough to tell you I need to do something? And why am I sharing this with you? If you look, and most of you need to follow British intelligence, as per the data that they provide, they tell you the amount of money that is going into startups and venture capital and the investments. And if you look at it, just in Africa, it is in billions. I can tell you in Kenya, already it's crossed 4 billion. I know Ghana's already crossed 1.2 billion. And the top 3 areas that they're investing in and the startups that are coming in and the ideas that are coming in is first is fintechs, DFS, agri-tech, agriculture, okay, and edutech. So clearly, you are the leaders in the future. So can you give yourselves a clap? Because right now, this is just important for you to know that this information is now at the tip of your fingers. What are you going to do with it? Okay? 3 million, the total tonnage of cocoa that was done between the African countries was 3.6 million tons of cocoa. Now, if you know me by now, in my last few minutes, I love to play with data and numbers and that. There's a number of cocoa that you can take, then that tells you how much cocoa powder you can get, and then out of that, how much you can be able to put in a cup. Did you know with that 3.6 million, if we chose to just sell it within Africa, within our 1.6 billion people, all you need to do is to consume 2 cups per year per African. That's all. And we've utilized all of it. So do we really need to send it out? Can't we really consume it? Can't we think about the fact that we can be millionaires in just 4 weeks? This generation, I have one, I raised her, I took her out of my womb, I created her. And let me tell you, you guys are not accepting anything anymore as it's given to you. Because what are you looking for? Transparency, integrity, accountability. Whether it is from your parents, whether it's from your leaders of the nation, whether it is from society, community, and even the brands that you wear. You are questioning it. So if it is not going to give you accountability for what it does and transparent, you're not interested in it. And this is why, as a Kenyan, most of you might have seen what happened in Kenya last year with the youth. Some might see it to be going against, government, but it's actually to showcase that you guys have a voice and you're using it to be able to make the difference. And this is happening globally. And for the first time, your generation is thinking the same across. Whether you're sitting in London, in Paris, in Berlin, you're thinking the same way. Why? Because it's about psychographics. It's no longer about demographics. You're hustlers. And that is the beauty about your generation. The African Renaissance, it's here. We see this. Remember, I just told you 1.6 billion people. By 2100, the largest ethnic group. Today, you're not calling people Jane, Mary, Susan. It's Efwa, Yebwa, Kwame, Wanjiru, Njuguna. We're using our local names. Whether it comes to music, I just came back from London a couple of days ago. You go into a store and it's Afrobeats and you're just there, vibing because you can relate to it. Amapiano, whether it's Lingala, it's happening. So this whole movement has already taken place, and it's your generation that's doing it. And this is why we applaud you and respect you, but we want to pass on that baton because we know there's only so much that we can now do. You are the best generation to take this forward. If you were to run the country as a business, if you had a leader as a CEO, no business would be exporting its value. Hence the reason we look at that, the continental free trade. It's been happening. We've had people crossing borders from before. We've just given it a fancy name. Are we doing anything with it till today? Nothing, right? But if you look at that graph, I've simplified in terms of how we can do things. It is scary if I tell you, for me to come from Kenya to Ghana costs me $1,500 economy. I can go to London at $1,300. I have somebody in this room that I travel with once to Benin. He holds an Indian passport, I hold Kenyan. My visa was 4 times his visa. So we need to think differently. We need to be angry enough to want to do things differently. And this is where we look at it and say that there's so much we can do. So ultimately, from what I've shown you as a data, it clearly says Africa is the one that sustains the global system. We are not having people investing in us. We are actually the investors. And it's time that the world paid full price.